Oh, hi. It's been a hot couple of weeks. I was going to say it's been a hot day, but you know what? The reality is it's been a hot couple of weeks. And I've been producing a lot of music lately, music to songs that I've written. And it's been a great time, and I'm going to continue doing that. And I've realized, looking back on my channel, that I haven't done a lot of personal chatting with anybody that's watching. And so I thought I would do that today, and I was thinking, what subject matter should I cover? And I'm going to go back to the roots of this channel, about estrangement. And I think just today, it won't be a long video, but it'll be one that is going to take you through the moment when I realized I was being let go by my adult daughter and her family, and what that felt like for me. Everybody would have a different experience, obviously, because of their own life experience. But oh, by the way, my name is Mimi. This channel, you probably already know that, is Mimi on the Move, and I really appreciate you being here today. And hopefully you'll stick around and hear a little bit about this. It seems like there's a fair amount of estrangement going on in many families across the country, if not the continent. I'm hearing about it. There's an awful lot of YouTube channels dedicated to this subject matter. And I'm thinking, why? Well, I guess that's not a hard question. Why is because it's happening a lot. I'm not really sure why, but I'm going to suggest that 100% of the people in my age group, I'm 71, and it was 10 years ago that I was booted out of the family by my youngest child. And I've been trying to talk about it for so long. It's a difficult time. This 10 years coming up in December, it'll be that I've seen my granddaughters. Okay, I was the secondary caregiver for the girls, and I had a very close relationship with the eldest daughter, and it was a very special relationship, one that only a grandmother and a granddaughter could experience in its fullest. It was pretty much fun. I wasn't in charge of raising her. I wasn't in charge of any of that stuff, but I certainly had the privilege of just enjoying my time with her, which, as a single parent raising my kids from when they were 9 and 2, I didn't get that because I was busy working to try and put food on our table, clothes on their back, activities for them to take, and so on and so forth. So I didn't actually get to be that person. Not that I think any parent gets to be that. That's why grandparents are so special, because they get to have that relationship with the children. But it was taken from me, and it was taken away from my grandchildren, which to me is the worst part, because the eldest child would have never understood at her young age. She wasn't quite 6. She would have not understood, where did Mimi go? Why didn't Mimi say goodbye? What happened to my Mimi? Doesn't Mimi love me anymore? There would have been so many feelings a little child would have when the person that they see 4 and 5 times a week disappears, literally overnight. So today is about when I got the phone call. In fact, the phone call was really about me contacting my daughter to find out what the schedule would be for the upcoming September. No, for the upcoming, the upcoming September. Yeah, that's when the problem actually started. Or was it in December? It was when she was going to go back to work or something. It's so long ago now, I don't even remember. But what I do remember is that the conversation didn't go well because she was literally cutting me out of my granddaughter's life by scheduling me to be there only on the days when the baby would be there, the one that was just about going to be turning 1 year old. And all of a sudden, she changed the schedule so that I wouldn't be seeing my precious eldest granddaughter on my days of babysitting. So of course I questioned that, because my granddaughter, the eldest one, and I had so much fun. It was like, why would you take that away from her, you know? But what she was doing is replacing me with her her husband's mother, and that's still escapes me why that was, because her husband's mother didn't spend time with Daisy, or my little granddaughter Daisy. She didn't spend time with her, and very little time. She did when there was family gatherings, which there was a lot of. We were all there all the time. But as far as babysitting that goes, it was the father of it was my daughter's father-in-law that shared the caretaking with me. So his schedule and my schedule, we were the two people that did the caregiving when my daughter was at work full time. And the mother actually didn't go with him on those days. So anyways, the time had come where she would change my schedule, and I didn't understand it. So when I questioned it, I could sense on the phone that there was an issue. And I had to keep asking, like, why? Like, I don't understand this. Why? One time she said to me on the phone there, she says, you know, she says, there's two of them and only one of you. Right, well, I did raise two children with only one of me, so I don't know, that just didn't hold any water for me, because I was still very active, busy, and able to look after two children. It was just, I knew it was lip service she was giving me. I knew it wasn't the truth, what was in her mind. I don't know what was going on there. I really don't know, and I'm not going to speculate. Maybe one day somebody will tell me, but I think part of me thinks that she was going through mental illness that caused her to betray her only one person that was ever there for her full time. That would be me. None of the other family seemed to, let me just say, none of the rest of the family gave a shit enough about my kids to be there for them after my husband died. Nope. It didn't happen. No. Anyways, then she told me on that same phone call, sorry, I digressed a little bit, but on that same phone call, she said that she needed time and space away from me. And I did not understand, or process that very well. And I immediately said, well, okay, why? Like, well, I just do. No reason was ever given to me, not to this very day. No reason was ever given to me. But I didn't understand how that could be, why I couldn't be with my granddaughters. If she needed time away from me, or not to have any relationship with me at that point, I'm sure we could have arranged something where I still would be continuing building a beautiful relationship with my granddaughters without my daughter in the picture. If she didn't want to be in the picture, I could accept that. But she didn't give me that option. She just got rid of me completely out of the entire family. And as years passed, she got rid of my mother and my son to her brother. So, yeah, I don't know. We don't know. None of us knew. But when I got off the phone from her, I fell to the floor in the kitchen of my townhouse. And I begged the floor for this not to be happening. And all I can remember what it really felt like. It felt exactly the same way as when I was a child, a young child, and they took our mother from us. They put us in a car and they drove us away, and we weren't to see our mother again. That's what that moment felt like. And I knew in her tone of voice, because I knew her the way any mother knows their child. I knew her. And when she would dig her heels in, they're in. Right? That can go in her favor or against her in life, but she definitely could dig her heels in. And even if she felt she was wrong about something, she'd still dig her heels in. Because that's who she was. Once the heels are in, they're in. They don't come out. So that's why I knew it was permanent. As much as she said, I need time and space away from you, I knew she was lying to me. And I couldn't bear it. I couldn't deal with it. I literally crumpled. It was on the 29th of December. And the youngest one was going to have her first birthday in 2 days. And the oldest one was going to have her birthday in just over 2 weeks. One would turn 1 and one would turn 6. Of course, I didn't see them ever again to this day. So this December 29th, it will be 10 years. And it doesn't hurt any less. The emptiness is just as empty as ever. And I know that there are thousands of grandmothers and grandfathers in the same situation as myself. And I'm speaking to you folks right now. I'm speaking to you, grannies and mimmies and nanas and onas and all those ones and papas and grandpas. And I'm speaking to you because I do know your pain. You do know my pain. And we all know there's not a darn thing we can do about our situation. Nothing. Because when that adult child gets rid of you, they get rid of you. And they don't think of their children. Like, what kind of parent in my mind takes away their child's joy of a grandmother or grandfather? What kind of parent does that? My daughter gave Daisy my middle name as Daisy's middle name. That meant a lot. There was something wonderful there. I'm proud that Daisy has my middle name. I'm delighted, and I always will be. So what happened between that day where they named their child, their second name after me? What happened from then until nearly 6 years later? I mean, 5 years later, whatever it was. What happened in her life? What went on? I mean, there were lots of days over those last couple of years that I felt like I was walking on like thin ice, you know? So I was always watching my P's and Q's. I remember one time she said to me, my daughter said to me, Mom, don't you ever wonder why I never tell you anything about me and Johnny's like marriage, like if we have arguments? Don't you ever wonder why I never speak to you about those kind of things? And I went, well, yes, of course I've wondered. I was always hoping that you would be able to come to me when you needed me, but it's your marriage and I can't interfere. So I've questioned it only inside my head, not out loud. And so I said, so now that you brought it up, why? Why have you never shared anything in your marriage like that with me? I hope you're sitting down for this answer, especially the grandmothers. Her response to me, asking her why she's never confided in me in their arguments on it, was this. She said, because you'd take my side. I said, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, you're my daughter. I'm going to take your side. Like, why did that become a bad thing? How did that become a bad thing in her head? What happened in her head that made her think that me supporting her, no matter what, right or wrong, that my support of her in her marriage was a bad thing? I don't know. And I realized that moment when she said that, which was only several months before she got rid of me, by the way, I realized there was something amiss here. There was something amiss, because she would have never talked like that before. She would have always thought that she was proud that I was her mother and supported her and whatnot. There were other red flags too that went untalked about. Let me just say untalked about. But they were very minor, so I just put them aside like all mothers do. I never interfered in their relationship. I never interfered in anything to do with their family. All I did was enjoy the privilege of being Mimi to those precious little babies. That's what I wanted. That's all I needed in my life, was to be important enough to care for my granddaughters, to be needed by my daughter. So when that day came, I was more than crushed. It took me right back to my childhood when they took my mother away. So the intensity of my emotions was beyond anything that my adult person, me, could handle. And I spent the next couple of years in a bit of a fog. I distanced myself from people. They distanced themselves from me. One woman who I actually thought was my best friend couldn't handle me being so devastated, depressed, suicidal. She just ended our friendship at one point. And I don't blame her, actually. I mean, she didn't have the strength of friendship with me to hang in there. Only one friend of mine, and I'll say her name, right? Her name's Yvonne. And we've been friends since we were in our 20s. We raised all of our kids together, and she had one, I had two. I mean, her and her husband, and me and my husband before he passed away, and then me following that. We always remained friends, and Yvonne was the one person that has stuck with me. And you know, it's really interesting because all the people that knew us in the years that my children were growing up, all those people that knew us, knew our life. They knew I worked hard. They knew I loved my kids. They knew that my kids were my world. Unfortunately, my son was a little bit put in the back seat because he was older, and I thought my daughter needed more of me. So I gave her much more attention in her formative years than my son for those reasons. But he has told me he understands, and when I asked for his forgiveness, he said he doesn't need to forgive me for anything. And he said there was one point, very like close to when my daughter got rid of me, there was one point when she went to him and tried to get him to go against me. And he told me that he told her to stop that. They don't do that. That's wrong. Right? So she then distanced herself from him because he didn't support her wanting to get rid of me at that point. And I knew nothing about that. It was at a Christmas dinner we were having. I knew nothing about that until after I was kicked to the curb. Anyways, it's been 18 minutes here of me just going on about this, how it felt. And I can't tell you exactly how it felt because it's so incredibly deep. It's so incredibly excruciatingly painful. It's beyond what any mother should have to feel or go through. And for all of you mothers like me, grandmothers like me, fathers and grandfathers like us, just know that I pray for all of us every night. I pray that we will find some kind of resolve or peace or understanding. Acceptance is what the only thing we can do, is accept it's happened because it has happened. But as for all those other questions, we don't have answers. And I think you can talk to just about anybody who's been in this situation. They don't have the answers either. None of us have the answers. We don't understand. So I'm going to leave that at that today. This is what you get today instead of a song with a video. But I hope if you have listened to any of my music, I hope you're enjoying some of it, and I'll try to have more talks. I'll try to have more talks so that maybe I can pick on a subject there that other people can relate to. Maybe you can relate to. If you have a subject you want me to see if I can talk to you about, throw it off in the comments. Say, you know, talk about this today, or maybe talk about that today. Because I got a lot of stuff going on in my head I'd love to talk about, but I'd really like to talk about something that people are interested in. And if the estrangement subject is something that any of you are interested in and we want to carry on with that, I will. I've got 10 years of stuff that we can talk about with regards to the estrangement. So with that, as always, I really pray and hope that all of you out there have love in your life. I hope you can all give love and receive love. I hope you all can recognize love and treasure it. And until then, till the next time, please take care and be well. See you soon.